Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Natoya and I'm here to help you start budget traveling. So guys, in this video, I'm going to share, I'm not sure how many, but some tips to help you if this is your first time traveling to Croatia. So guys, I've been all over the world, and the hardest thing I find is that sometimes you don't know what you don't know. Like, you don't even know to question or Google something. If you don't know, you need to know it, right? So that's what this video is all about. I've been in Croatia for 6 weeks. I've traveled to a ton of cities and I've just learned a lot being here as a tourist. So I want to share that with you. If this is your first time, I hope this helps, because again, you don't know what you don't know. So this video is a part of my series, How to Travel in Croatia on a Tight Budget. I'll link the playlist in the description. Also check out my ultimate checklist for budget traveling Croatia and just all the things you need to do in Croatia, even if you're not on a super tight budget. It's just everything you need to know to plan your trip to Croatia. So these are just some things that I think that matters, that will just save you some awkward moments. And guys, if I think of some more things, I'll definitely add them in the comments. But if you are a tourist in Croatia and you have something to add, please add them in the comments so we all can learn and be better tourists in Croatia. So if you're watching this during COVID, make sure that you have your documents in place, you have the right entry requirements for Croatia. I made an entire video about that. I'll link it in the description and it's also in the playlist below. Make sure you have your COVID test or you're vaccinated, your entry to your announcement to entry form, proof of accommodation, all that jazz. Please watch that video. And also my experience traveling from America to Europe during COVID. So I'll link that above and it's in the playlist below. Okay, so next, traveling off season is crazy cheaper. It's so much cheaper to travel off season. Now, I totally understand if you want to have like a fabulous Mediterranean summer, lay on the beach, enjoy the views of the mountain, and just have a good summer in Europe, in Croatia. I understand that. But if you're not too much interested in the beach and being in Croatia during the summer, please visit Croatia during off season. Things are literally like 50% less, and I'm not kidding. So for example, we went to Krka National Park and the tickets during the summer is 200 kunas, while the tickets during the fall is literally 100 kunas, it's half. And that goes for many different activities in Croatia, many different attractions. Things are just less during off season. Also, accommodation, of course, accommodations are cheap. There's less tourists. You just get overall better deals. So if this is your first time going to Croatia and you haven't booked anything yet, just consider going off season, like the springtime. I bet the best time would be the winter or the fall. Next, make sure your debit or credit card has a chip, because in Croatia, you tap your card or you stick it in the machine. So be sure to have a card with a chip for your transactions. Next thing is, make sure you always have cash on you, because some of the restaurants, they do not take cards. I've only went to literally one restaurant in the 6 weeks I've been in Croatia that doesn't take cards. I actually thought it would be way more than that. Just make sure you have cash on you just in case the restaurant or just wherever doesn't take cards. Okay, so next, under food and dining out, you get to a restaurant. If you're going to like the average restaurant, do not be awkward like I was in the beginning and just stand there and wait for someone to sit you down. When you arrive, just find a seat, sit, your waiter will come to you. In America, I'm so used to being seated. Even if I'm like going to Applebee's, I'm just so used to it that it was just hard to get that out of my system. But here in Croatia, if it's just a regular old restaurant, you just find a seat and sit and wait for your waiter. Of course, make sure there isn't like a reservation sign on the table, and make sure that it's not a fancy restaurant where you would need to make reservations. So just think of that beforehand, but at your average restaurant, you just go in and sit. So next, tipping is not expected, but it's nice. Well, first of all, the hospitality here in Croatia is amazing. It's amazing. So I'm surprised and shocked that tipping isn't expected here. But yes, tipping is not expected here, but I did tip like 90% of the time, because I just felt weird not tipping. And again, the The service here is amazing. So you can decide how you feel about that and make your decision. But yeah, it's not expected here, but it sure is nice. The next thing is, like most countries that you visit, the local food is way cheaper. So if you're coming to Croatia and you want to find something like sushi, Mexican food, I would just recommend you get your fix in the US because it is expensive here. So I went to this Mexican restaurant in Dubrovnik, and the meal was just so expensive and overpriced just because it's a different restaurant. So if you're coming here to Croatia, stick to the Croatian food. Make sure you watch my video on eating in Croatia on a budget. I named some of my favorite Croatian food, so check that out. It's linked above, and of course, it's in the playlist below. So next on the food, like I said a second ago, the food is crazy cheap here. Make sure you watch that video. I give you some exact numbers. I'll link it above again. The food is crazy cheap here. The ice cream and gelato is crazy cheap here. So when you come to Croatia, make sure you have room in your stomach to like stuff yourself with yummy, cheap foods. Okay, so next, if you're going to the grocery store, make sure you put your food in a plastic bag. You go to a little weighing station, you weigh your fruit, and then you put the sticker on it. I'm pretty sure that I was annoying a lot of cashiers because I refused to weigh my fruit because I just simply didn't know I had to weigh my fruit until I realized there was a whole weighing station because I seen a lady weighing the fruit. So make sure you weigh your fruit and your vegetables when shopping at the grocery store. Next thing is, you can drink the water here. It's safe, it tastes normal. It's a great way to save money. So make sure you carry a water bottle from the US so you can fill it up and you can save money. Next, make sure you go to the bakeries here for breakfast. Try all of the different treats you can have here in Croatia from the bakeries. It's just so wild to me how inexpensive like fresh baked bread and just goodies are here in Croatia. All right, so now let's talk about accommodations. So I'm going to talk all about Airbnbs here and apartment rentals because I only stayed at Airbnbs and apartments in Croatia. I stayed at a total of 8. So my best advice for you is stay at an Airbnb or an apartment rental in Croatia because they are crazy cheap. You get so much value for your money. Just make sure you book early, you read the reviews, read the listing thoroughly. I made a video on booking the best Airbnb, how to book an Airbnb in Croatia if you're on a budget. Be sure I'll link that above somewhere here. And of course, it's in the playlist below. But if you're on a budget, and also if you want to have like a different experience in Croatia, if you want to see how Croatians live, make sure you book an apartment rental. Like I said, they're crazy cheap. You can get an amazing apartment for $40, $50, $60 a night. Next, on accommodation, as with most countries and most large cities, the further you move from the city center, the cheaper the accommodations are, of course. But I have to stress that here in Croatia because the further you move, it gets even cheaper and you get even more value for your money. And when I say value for your money, I mean more space, more amenities. Just keep in mind, you don't have to stay right in the city center. In Croatia, the Ubers here are crazy cheap. You can always rent a car, but I do just recommend you get an Airbnb that's not directly in the city center, but just maybe a 10-minute walk into the city center. So the next thing is apartments here in Croatia. They just have this, a lot of them just have one AC to cool the entire house. So it actually wasn't a huge issue for me. We just left all the doors open and kept the AC running. It's usually in the living room. But if you're coming with like a party of like 6 people and you're all couples, and you obviously don't want to leave the door open, just make sure you read the listing to see if there's more than one AC, because that could be a problem if you don't want to leave your door open. So next, it's normal to have a washer in the house, but it's uncommon to have a dryer. You will have to hang your clothes out on a line. Trust me, it's not as grueling or annoying as it seems. We got so used to it. But if that's a problem for you, just make sure your Airbnb has a dryer, which you can just click a box under the amenities when searching for Airbnbs. All right, so next, let's talk about navigating and getting around Croatia. So in Croatia, literally, I see no one wearing a mask. I can count on my hands how many people I've seen wearing a mask. But when you do go into certain tourist sites like Diocletian's Palace, or just wherever, when you go into a site, a tourist site, you need to wear a mask. When you go onto the bus, any closed area, you need to wear a mask. But if you're in a open area, like an outdoor restaurant, you don't need a mask. So just prepare for that. The next thing is when you're crossing the street, you have to, the cars will not stop. You just have to start walking, and then they have to see you, and that will make them stop. Most places do not have a light. You just have to start walking and they will see you. I awkwardly just kind of stood there like, are you gonna stop? Like, are you guys gonna stop? No, they're not gonna stop. You have to show that you're crossing the street, and then they will stop. A lot of the older ladies here, I do not see them looking left. I do not see them looking right. A lot of the old people here just kind of just start crossing the street and just hope for the best. And the funny thing is, the cars actually do stop. All right, so next, do not take a taxi off the street. They will overcharge you. We did this 3 times, and by the way, if my sister is watching this video, it was my sister's fault. Use Uber or use Bolt to call a taxi. And we were warned by 2 different Airbnb hosts that the taxis will overcharge you. And when you're in a taxi, you and your driver need to wear a mask, so just prepare for that. And some of the drivers are really serious about that, so just prepare to wear a mask in the car. The next thing is, when navigating around Croatia, you notice that cats are everywhere. They are everywhere. So I'm not sure how you feel about that, but I'm definitely just here to share that with you. I just want to help you prepare for Croatia. Cats are everywhere. My sister, she doesn't really like cats, so that was like a thing for her. But I don't feel any kind of way about cats. They're just whatever. But they're everywhere. They're everywhere. So yeah. The next thing is, if you need to use the bathroom, look out for WC. That means bathroom. I have no idea what that stands for, but that means bathroom. But with that said, make sure you have about 20 to 40 kunas, because you will have to pay for a bathroom. Obviously, if you're in a restaurant or some tourist site, you don't have to pay for the bathroom. But if you're, say, at a bus station, like the one in Split or Dubrovnik, you will have to pay 20 to 40 kunas. I found that to be the range. Like, for example, the bus station in Split, I needed to pay 20 kunas to use the bathroom. So always make sure you have some change on you when you see that WC sign. The next thing is, a lot of Croatians speak English. I'm gonna say maybe about 99% of the people that I met speak English. Pretty much almost everyone I met speaks English here in Croatia. The people that I didn't find to speak English was much older people, but everyone under, let's say, everyone under 40 years old speak English. So it was just so much easier to travel around Croatia. And on top of it all, you can have a full conversation with people, learn more about Croatia. It's just fun. I mean, it's just awesome to be able to just speak to people and not have a language barrier in place. All right, so next, let's talk about what to bring to Croatia. So you need an adapter to plug in your devices. So it's type C and type F. I'll link that in the description below, the adapters you need. All right, so here's how the adapter looks. I just always keep it on my plug. So I have like a million of these. They're so cheap. I'll link in the description, but here's the adapter. So that, and you just stick it on top like that and plug it in. So if your device comes with a converter, so if it's ginormous like this, then definitely comes with a converter, but you can just read the back here, those tiny words. So if your device comes with a converter, then you're good with the adapter. But if it does not come with a converter, you need to get a voltage converter. I'll link that in the description below. Chances are your device definitely comes with a converter. For example, my flat iron does not have a voltage converter and nothing. So if I plug the adapter on this and plug it in the wall, I'll definitely cause a fire and definitely fry my hair. So yeah, does not have an adapter. So here's my voltage converter. It's in this handy dandy little pouch. I'll show it to you. So here it is. Oh, I don't have the cord, but here it is. So I would plug in my flat iron into it right here, plug it in right here, and then it converts the voltage. And of course, I would plug this part here. There's a cord that I plug in here and plug it into the wall, and you're good to go. So if you're someone that travels a lot and know that you have a lot of you like to travel a lot of electronics that needs the voltage converted, definitely check out this kit. All right, next, and this one is for the ladies. It is kind of hard to find tampons here. We did manage to find tampons, but in many of the stores we went to, we did not see tampons. So if tampons are your jazz, make sure you bring enough for Croatia. And of course, it was definitely easy to find pads. They were all over Croatia. But if you need your tampons, make sure you carry them with you. The next thing is to pack like a reusable cloth bag, because at the grocery stores here, you have to pay for shopping bags. So if you know that you're going to be grocery shopping a lot, make sure you get one of those reusable cloth grocery bags. You don't have to be paying for the plastic bags every time you go to the grocery store. And of course, because it lasts longer. And my very last tip is, if you're coming here during the summer and you're planning on going to the beach, do yourself a huge favor and bring water shoes. I know you've probably heard this tip before, but I'm just here to just stress it. Be sure to bring water shoes. Those rocks are deadly. And then when you get deeper into the water, it's like you don't feel the rocks as much. But when you're walking like from the shore into the water, it is so painful. Please do not underestimate those rocks. Make sure you bring your water shoes. I promise you will not regret carrying them in your luggage. So guys, I hope these tips helped. Croatia was definitely a very easy country to travel to, because it's a popular tourist destination in Europe. So it's well traveled, and it has like a strong tourism infrastructure. So don't worry about it too much. I just made this fun video to just help you have an easier time in Croatia. Be sure to like, subscribe below, and leave any comments, questions you would like me to answer in a video, and I'll be seeing you soon. Bye.